Hello, my name's Ashley from eCakes and welcome to another tutorial. So a few of you have asked how I do a drip cake, so I'm going to show you some painting and a drip on this particular cake. So I've made up some edible paint, which is I've mixed in some claret, some Pro-Gel claret, some Super Duper white, can you see that? And I've mixed it with some dipping solution. Okay, just to get some paint. So I'm just going to quickly do some rough brush strokes under it. So I've got some pink and some white, just to give it a nice little effect underneath the drip, and it also makes the drip stand out nice. So just some different shades, and I kind of want to see those brush strokes, so you don't want your paint too thin, and keep in mind if you don't like it you just paint over it with a different shade. If it's too dark or too light. Add some white in. These are very popular just now. And then you can shove loads of fruit and flowers on it. Makes it look really nice. So again, if it's too dark, I'm just going over it with some white. Blend in a bit. But you want it to also stand out a wee bit. There we go. Quite happy with that. Do some more white round here. And it does dry a little lighter, so don't worry if it's too dark, it does dry in. You can add some gold leaf and silver leaf to this at this stage as well, which looks quite nice. Okay, so you see the effect I'm going for, just a little watercolour sort of effect. I'm just going to blend in a bit more with the white. Because I panelled this cake, so I covered it on the top and then the sides, we do have a join down here, which you can see. So I'm going to make sure I cover that with a big drip when we come to it so you don't see the little imperfections. Okay, fairly happy with that. Okay, nice. Right, so I can get rid of the paint and then on to the drip. So to do the drip, I'm using royal icing because I'm going to be painting it rose gold. So sometimes I do use melted chocolate, white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, whatever. But today I'll use royal icing because we then are letting it dry and then painting it. So I'm just going to put on a wee ribbon. Make sure you do your board, your ribbon, whatever you need to, because then the drip will go over it and it's harder to do that afterwards. So just attach this wee bit of ribbon, a tiny bit of icing, a bit of made up. At the back, I always do all the joins at the back. Okay, so for the drip, I'm going to try and show you this, you may not see it, so consistency wise it's really hard to see. It's runny, but when you put it in the bowl, all the sort of wee lines disappear eventually, but not too quickly. Getting the right consistency is the hardest thing, so if it's too thin it will just run and it does look a bit of a mess. If it's too thick, I would say that's better than being too thin, and you can try and encourage the little drips down. So I've got a piping bag here, scissors and a palette knife. So first of all I'm going to put about half of what I've made up. So this is 1 egg, ice and sugar until I get the right consistency, and I've thinned it out with a little bit of lemon juice. So I'm going to put half of it in the piping bag, and we'll have more than enough for the top of this cake, which is a 6-inch. Oh, making a mess. So half of it in the piping bag, and then I'm going to put the rest of it, spoon it straight onto the cake. So I do the top first. Some people do it differently. I'm going to do the top first. I'll show you why. So with my flattish palette knife, I'm going to just run this round the side till it gets to the edges. Okay, so keep keep encouraging it round. I've made this quite thick actually. You can always take some stuff off if it's too much. There we go. Right, so see how it's coming down the sides? You kind of want that, and you want to encourage it down the sides, and then with the piping bag we're just going to emphasise that and then go on top of it. This is probably a wee bit on the thicker side. Right. So it's going to the edges. So piping bag, I need to do this straight away. Piping bag, cut off a wee tiny bit at the end, doesn't need to be a lot. And then all I'm going to do is emphasise the bits that are already running down. Ooh. Okay, so like this bit, I'll start here and just fish it down, and that will run down. It does run further than you think, so you don't need a lot. So again, encourage those wee bits. If it's too thick, like mine is a wee bit thick, you can encourage it down like that. I would rather it was too thick, and then you can almost control it a little bit better. So I'm just encouraging it down. And do it randomly as well. You don't want them all the same length. But keep in mind, wherever you stop, they will run further. So once I'm finished, I'm going to put this in the fridge and let it dry, set, and then I'll paint it. Because if you did it too early, it would just be a mess. So you don't want, I wouldn't want to bring it too far down. You maybe want a couple of drips reaching the board, but you don't want to bring it, so I'll do this one a bit further down, and that'll run down, but don't want them, see they're starting to come down already. So this is where the join I've got here from the icing, so I'm going to try and get a wee drip over that to hide any joins, any imperfections, put it at the back as well and try and hide. So that will run down a bit more, get these wee guys. And it means every cake's different. All the drips are different, and you can paint this. I've painted them silver, gold, rose gold, pink, whatever you want. Okay, see, by the time I've got round to here, they've run down even more. So that's what I mean. You don't want to stop where you think it should be, because then it will continue to run down. Quite happy with that side now. You put a wee one in here. You can add in more, but do it all before it sets. Add in wee short ones in between the long ones. Yep. One in there. I do prefer using melted chocolate. It's quicker and runnier, but for the metallic ones I do need to paint, then I use royal icing. But again, it is just getting the right consistency and playing around with, you know, the first couple of times you might get too thick or too thin, but anyway, so I'm quite happy with that. So, you see that? And it will all level out, any wee bumps and stuff will run and will look a bit more even. You just still to run down a bit, and I've covered up most of my join here. So what I'm going to do is pop that in the fridge for maybe 30 minutes and then come back and paint it gold. Rose gold even.